Hey guys, so I'm going to be sharing with you some of the Saints picture books that I'm planning to use with our Waldorf second grade main lesson block next year. And before we do that, I just wanted to get started with some other things that I've been thinking about relating to wanting to incorporate more Waldorf practices. So the first one is geometry lessons in the Waldorf school. So this is a book I've had for a while, and it has some free-form exercises and some things that you use tools with. I'm kind of struggling with how to implement it. Usually I would prefer to just sign them up for like a Waldorfish class. There's a 5th grade and 6th grade geometry class, but they're expensive, and since we're no longer with the charter, I'm trying to figure out how to do that. So I will be looking on YouTube for tutorials and Pinterest and other stuff, but if you have a book that you'd like to recommend to me that does the different geometry things but tells you more how to do it, because I'll show you an example of something it does. Like, it has this, but it's like, how do you do it, right? So obviously I could kind of figure it out with a ruler and a compass, but I'm not sure. Like, what I'm looking for is really step-by-step instructions, and it doesn't have that. So I may end up just having to do some experimentation. But anyway, so I'm looking for geometry resources. Please send those my way if you have them. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you is this is painting and drawing in the Waldorf schools. And so this kind of has more of the how-to. It's not exactly step-by-step, but it tells you, for example, what colors to use. And both of my students just did a wet and wet watercolor class with Lotus and Ivy, and they really enjoyed that. So I want to see if I can continue to incorporate that. And here's an example page of 2 St. Francis paintings. And so it tells you exactly which colors to use and gives you some direction. So if you study this, and you could probably practice it as well, that is what I'm thinking about doing. And so I wanted to show you guys these 2 books in case you're interested in trying to incorporate more Waldorf as well. So moving on to the books. I haven't edited this at all. There's 2 main sources that I looked at. The first one was I posted in the Memoria Press Facebook group. Memoria Press is a classical Christian curriculum, so a lot of Christian people are using it. I figured they would know about saints, and I got a lot of really good responses. There's one book I haven't gotten yet called Saints Around the World. I'm very interested in that because I'm not trying to only do Catholic or Christian saints. I want to do different, holy people, and the Christophorus curriculum does have different saints. It's not only, St. Francis or what have you. But one of the most helpful resources out of there was a list of saints throughout the year by Diana Kennedy. She is a Catholic homeschooling mom, I think of 6, and also an RN, I think. And so she's been interviewed by Memoria Press and things about how she manages to work and homeschool her kids. And so her website has a lot of helpful books. And so she had sent that to me, and I found a lot of the books I'm going to share with you on there. And then the other list, which I can't remember who shared, it was in the same Memoria Press thread, but Read Aloud Revival also has Saints picture books. So I will drop the links to those 2 sites down below. And then the other thing that I did is I looked on thrift books and had the algorithm suggest books. And I also just went onto our library's website and typed in the word saint, and you'll see why that's funny in a minute. But all of which is to say I tried to get as many of the picture books that I wanted to use as I could, just to see what our library has, similar to what I did with the 2nd grade Memoria Press books. So I'm going to share those with you. And this video is, I decided to make it for our Waldorf purposes, but I think if you're a Christian or a Catholic, I realize those are almost synonymous terms. If you're looking for books as a Christian homeschooler, then I think there's definitely going to be some books that you might be interested in as well. So first one, Saints Among the Animals. I got this one because I was thinking this might have something in common with St. Francis. Oh yeah, this looks really interesting. So here's the table of contents. And so this would be really good too if you were doing like a unit on animals and things like that. Oh, and it has St. Jerome and the Lion. That was the book that I couldn't find in print. So that is a book that I'm looking forward to using. And it looks like they're not too long, which is also good. And you could probably, if you were doing this as a Waldorfer, have your student try to copy whatever picture into their main lesson book. So that's the first book, Saints Among Animals. Next, we have Brother Francis and the Friendly Beasts. St. Francis is a staple in what I have seen in Waldorf main lessons. And I've shared before how my students have had a particular connection with him in just reading books to them. It really, the spirit of reverence for who he was as a person really came across to them when they were around 7, 8 years old. And so that is why I continue to do the Saints block, even though it may not make sense to some people, who come here for secular recommendations or Jewish recommendations. It's not about like a religious thing. It's more about like a reverence and spirituality and holiness thing. So this is a type of book I probably would not use because it's more of like an encyclopedia type reference. But I wanted to just see what they had anyway. So I am looking for some sort of picture book about Joan of Arc. But I just wanted to, again, show you what's available. This book looked really interesting. I'm not sure exactly what it's about, but it was on a list that I had found. And I thought that it would be really great for March. There's that. So that looks like a great one. Then we have Patrick, patron saint of Ireland. This, I think we may even own this, but I didn't know where it was, so I wanted to make sure the library had it. And so this author, we read, I think in one of the St. Francis books, it said that he lived in a monastery, and so that was why he was able to draw on a lot of his experiences there in writing his books. This book, this guy is very controversial where we live, but did a lot for missions and things. And again, this is one I wouldn't necessarily be planning on using, but I wanted to just see what was available. This looks more like if you're looking for a history type book, that could be good. This one I was really excited about, Lives and Legends of the Saints. And here's all the saints that are included. So this looks like a good one. So I may have to write down. And again, you could probably have your student either draw or paint the photo that's there. That looks good. So this is the type of thing that I'm really looking for. I may have to do like 2 different piles so I could remember when this is over what looked good. Okay, this one I had heard of in the Memoria Press group. I didn't realize that Benedict, who we learned about when we were doing medieval studies, had a sister, Scholastica. And so he has a series of books, obviously, that are relevant. So I got a lot of his books because that was kind of just a helpful, algorithm to follow. And then similar with this one, I think this is a Christmas book. Yeah. So it's a Christmas book, but I thought it was maybe interesting. It reminds me of Baba Yaga, if you're familiar with Russian folk tales. So that's that one. Then we have Saint Anthony the Great. And so some of these obviously have a lot of have more Christian of a lens or persuasive nature, so you'd want to read those in advance, and that's what I would plan to do, is just start with the list of books that look good and then read through them and decide what you're comfortable with. And then we have another version of St. Valentine. I have the other one that's on the Memoria Press list. So what I'm looking for is less historical and more like story-based, narrative-based. So I'm not sure, like this one looks kind of historical, but we'll see. And then this book, I'm not sure, but I thought it looked like a beautiful book, so it was worth at least looking at. But it definitely looks like it would be good if you're a Christian homeschooler and looking for more literature. And I think that's what Diana, sorry if I said her name wrong, Kennedy had, was like your book basket, your Catholic book basket. And so I think some of these would definitely fit into that category. And this one was on a couple of lists as well. Looks like it would be good for March. I don't have enough space for. And again, if you wanted to pick one of the drawings in here for your main lesson book. Okay, it's that one. And it's probably pronounced different than what I said. And then similar to the Joan of Arc book, this is a more of like an encyclopedic book. And this is actually also, I think, in the Eastern Hemisphere's set of books. So I might do this for like a biography, although it's still a little bit more, not sure what the word is, but not narrative, the opposite of narrative. I'd rather do picture books too, since this is supposed to be a second grade thing. So this is a more kind of similar, I think, to what I was thinking. And it's a reader. So I might use this as a reader. More narrative of Mother Teresa. And I was listening to the audio from Christophorus about second grade and like what the goal of the main lesson is. And she kind of cautions against doing like modern heroes. This is what was this book? Or not only modern heroes, but like heroes as opposed to saints, because the saints is like a different thing than heroes, so you might want to separate those out. I'm not sure how I'm going to treat that. It really depends on what I land on. And so this is about Moses, who's a holy person, I think would count under her definition, but it looks like this is mostly about Passover, which we have covered extensively. So this one's kind of a little bit more religious than narrative based. So I'm not sure. I mean, obviously that could work for us because we're Jewish, but this book I was thinking I probably would not use, but I wanted to share it anyway because it seemed like a really good resource for Christian homeschoolers. It looks like a Bible and the layout's very beautiful. So you have the picture of whomever you're speaking about and then the little narrative. And I thought this could be really cool. It looks like you could read one of these each day. So I don't know if we would use it, but I thought that it was a cool layout and I wanted to share it with you guys. Especially because I expect people searching on YouTube that are Christian. This might pop up if they're searching. But yeah, not what I was looking for, but it looks like a really great book. So there's some of that. Then next we have The Legend of Poinsettia. I thought this looked cool because while it's related to Christmas, it's like a kind of a fairy tale. And there's one more book that's similar to that, which I'll show you. Oh, I'm getting my piles mixed up. Okay. This one was recommended by someone in the Memoria Press group specifically. And so typically I wouldn't do St. Nicholas because it's, tied to Christmas in particular, but I don't know, we'll see. And this is a really interesting way that they have the illustrations. I could see this being a really cool main lesson page. Reminds me of Russian idol art or Eastern Orthodox. I forget what it's called. I think it's called idols. But that. We have St. Francis Sings to Brother's Son. We had a similar book to this last year with the CMEC that I think was by Tomi Di Paola. This is kind of interesting. So I'm not really sure what the perspective of this book is, but here's that painting I was showing you in that Waldorf book. Let's see if I can quickly find it. So St. Francis preaching to the birds, and then here's the painting for that. So this could be interesting. You could read this and then do the painting with your students, which is kind of what I was looking for. So that looks really good, actually. Really like that. Next we have Gail Gibbon, St. Patrick's Day. And so I don't own this one. I think this may even be a Memoria Press book for one of the younger grades. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see what's different between Gail Gibbon's and the other books. This is kind of veering more into the Christian book basket type stuff for me versus a narrative, because this is kind of like a nonfiction book. But I think it's really a nice book. And then we have another St. Patrick book. That's the most easiest to find from the library. But this looks pretty good for what I'm looking for. Could easily make main lesson pages, paintings, drawings. So that looks good. Then we have Too Many Tamales. I'm pretty sure this is a Memoria Press book for either kindergarten or first grade. And it's Christmas related. It looks just like a really nice, fun book. And it reads like a fairy tale or a fable or narrative or whatever. That's what I'm interested in. So that. Then we have this book. Here is the description on that. This looks good. Oh, look at that. Beautiful illustrations. So that looks really good. This might be a little missionary, but I'll have to read it. I can't really judge the quality of that based on 30 seconds. And then this is funny. So this is about St. Lucia, and I was thinking it's about St. Lucia, but it's actually about the place. So I just wanted to share that. It's kind of funny when you're trying to search based on an algorithm. A couple more books. Got another one about St. Francis, ironically. So this one's probably got too many words for me. I really like the Tommy DiPaolo one. I don't think I checked that out because we had just had that. But this might be really good for a Catholic book basket type book. And then we have Kuan Yin. So this is a little bit different. This might even not be relevant to this, but it looked really good when it came up somehow. Because it's kind of about like a princess. Who knows? I might have even just reserved this book for some other reason. But it's pretty. Okay, there's that. And then the last book is Saints, Lives, and Illuminations. This one looked really interesting. So this is kind of similar to a couple of the other anthologies. This could work really great. And by the way, this is what Christophorus is named after, this guy. So you could read this short story and then have your drawing. This is kind of, looks like it's going to be a good fit. And I may end up purchasing a couple of these books, like if there's 2 or 3 that I want. But what I was trying to not do is just, log on and purchase a whole bunch of books, especially if I'm not going to use them more than a couple times, Anyway, this guy's a big deal in Waldorf. And St. Basil's usually done in these different things. I really like this book. I think I'll definitely use this one and maybe even buy it. I know I just said that, but the more I'm looking at it, it's got all of the saints that we've looked at so far all in one place. So that's cool. Might do that and then Saints Around the World. All right. We will end on this book. And there's the index. So thank you guys for watching this video. And I hope that if you are looking for some books about saints for whatever reason, I hope that you found some good ones in this video. Thanks for watching.